Hello and welcome to the Order on the Court podcast. I'm Parker.
And I'm James.
And we're your host.
On this show, we are mainly going to cover basketball, but we'll also talk about other sports as well.
We'll have a couple of routine segments on the show. We're going to have a fantasy basketball waiver wire update every episode,
as well as a keep 3, cut 3 segment.
But as for the rest of the show, it's just going to be the two of us discussing the hottest topics in the sports world.
On today's episode, we're going to cover the NBA trade deadline, the Super Bowl, the one and done rule, and much more.
Let's get started then, James.
All right, first off, let's talk about this NBA trade deadline, man.
Yeah, lots going on in the trade deadline. Couple of big trades, couple of really surprising ones, I think. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the KD trade. That's arguably the biggest one out there, you know.
Yeah, I think the Suns are really going to try to push and fit this window to win the championship that they have with CP3 getting old.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they knew that their time for a championship was almost up. Ayton doesn't want to be there. I feel like Ayton doesn't want to be there anymore. I feel like Ayton's starting to get fed up with the organization. CP3's window's closing, and they needed another piece because Jay Crowder's not the answer. I'm sorry. Jay Crowder was not the answer. He wasn't even playing at all this season. He didn't want to be on the team, so it makes sense that they shipped him off for KD. That was a really smart move.
Well, honestly, they did lose a very viable piece in Mikal Bridges, though.
I agree with that. That is arguably the worst part of the trade. Did you see he dropped 47 or something like that in Brooklyn?
First game debut.
I know. That was crazy. But I do, and how many firsts was it? It was like 4 firsts and a pick swap. And Mikal Bridges, and who else did they give up? Cam Johnson or Cam Payne? They gave up one of them. I feel like it's too much for how old's KD? 35, 36? Too old for a 30. That's too much for a 36.
Whatever's going to help them win that championship, they're going to go out and get it.
But do you think they're going to win this year? Now that they have KD? Who's their biggest competition in the West?
That's hard to say. I'm going to throw that question right back at you. What you think?
The Mavericks.
The
Mavericks, I feel like the Mavericks should have traded for Mo Bamba instead of the Lakers. Because now let's somersault right here into the Kyrie trade. The Mavericks go out, they get Kyrie a couple of days after he requests the trade. That was huge for them because now they have the two best. Like you can argue that they have the two best on-ball guards in the league.
Yeah, two best ISO guards for sure.
They definitely have the two best. Like when it comes to shot creating, that nobody's stopping them.
Definitely.
And, you know, I think that was a really good trade due to the fact that I feel like they didn't give up too much for that.
No, they didn't.
Because they basically just shipped a basic role player in Dorian Finney-Smith and a former net, Spencer Dinwiddie, back to the Nets. So they did, and then what? Same thing as KD, I think 5 first. But I feel like that's a much better payout because you're not losing. You're actually getting rid of Spencer Dinwiddie, who's your point guard, to get a much better one in return.
That's true. The only thing is, though, the controversy that Kyrie could bring to the team.
That is true. Kyrie does get himself in a lot of trouble.
That's the only factor.
As big of a Kyrie fan I am, he is a very controversial player. However, I did see Dave Chappelle make quite the joke. He said when that whole thing with Kanye happened, he said Kanye got in so much trouble, Kyrie did too. So I just had to throw that in there. But yeah, he's definitely going to bring some controversy to the team due to fans not liking him due to his demeanor or behavior, you could say, off the court. But on the court, you have to admit it, he's one of the most skilled players. Like, he's got to be one of the best ball handlers of all time. He's up there.
Yeah, he for sure is the best ball handler of all time.
I agree with that.
He has the deepest bag that I've ever seen.
He's got the deepest bag of tricks ever. Like, there's not really an argument that you can make against him. He's still creating new stuff to this day. We've seen him pull more and more out of that bag as the years go on, and we didn't even know he could keep going in. It's like a bottomless bag of Halloween candy.
Okay.
All right, do you want to hop into the D'Lo trade here? Oh, wait, no, we never answered that question. I think the Mavericks are the only team that can rival the Suns right now because John Morant's no longer fine in the West.
Yeah, I'm going to ride with the Mavericks, too.
I think they're just – the only problem that I have with the Mavericks roster is that they needed to trade for a center, too.
Yeah, they needed a center, but honestly, I feel like the backcourt and Luka and Kyrie is going to really make up for what they're lacking down there.
I agree with that. But here's the thing to me is they have no defense. Do you know what their starting 5 is right now?
Talk to me. Let me know.
Kyrie's at the point. Luka's at the 2. Hardaway Jr.'s at the 3, Christian Wood's at the 4, and Dwight Powell is their 5. They have zero defensive talent on that. When you have that 5 on the court, there's no defense. There's no defense.
You got
they're scoring
two pure scorers on the court though.
That is true. And Christian Wood. Christian Wood's a bucket. Christian Wood's a bucket too.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Hardaway Jr. They've got to have the best offense in the league right now. If you look at it on paper, that's probably the best offense in the league.
Either them or the Suns.
Yeah, because the Suns. Let's look at the Suns lineup right now. Their points obviously CP3. Their shooting guards Booker. Do they put KD at the 3 or the 4? Because Ayton's going to be at the 5. Who's going to fill in that extra spot? Because they no longer have Mikal Bridges. They no longer have Cam Johnson to put there. They could put Cameron Payne at the 2 and put Booker at the 3 and KD at the 4, but then that team's weak defensively.
I think that's what they would go with.
I feel like that is what they'll go with because at this point, you've got Ayton in the paint for the defense. You got Chris Paul up at the top with his defensive talents, and then I think you fill out the rest of the team with just pure offense. Yep. And we obviously know KD. He's got like a 10-foot wingspan, so he's swatting anything that's within a mile.
That's true.
However, I do think the Mavericks have a better lineup. I think the Mavericks are averaging 130 points a game with Kyrie and Luka.
I'm actually gonna take the Suns offense over the Mavericks. I'm gonna tell you why. The height.
I agree.
Nobody can contest KD's shot.
Nobody's contesting KD. We saw it in that. What was it? The Bucks that they played and lost to in 7 when KD hit that shot to go to OT.
Yep.
When his foot was too big. That you can't contest him. He's so talented at his height when it comes to creating his own shot.
Ball handle at 7 foot is different.
When you can put the ball on a string and play with it like a yo-yo at 7 foot, that's something we haven't seen ever. I mean, name another 7-footer that can dribble. The silence tells me everything.
Now, you do have the newcomer, Wembyana.
No, he's not as good as KD. Bro, they glaze him so much. They are glazing. Bro, have you seen some of the stuff they post on Instagram about him?
How tall is he? Like
7'2".
7'2"? I'm just saying.
If he can develop, I think so. But do you see some of the stuff they post on Instagram about him?
What
Bro, they posted his highlights from a 9-4-3 game. He had 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, and they posted it. That is glazing. That is glazing at its finest.
He's going to the league. He has the clout. They're going to post.
I think Scoot's better. I'm saying that Scoot Henderson should be. Where's the camera? Scoot Henderson should be the number 1 pick. Scoot Henderson. Yes, I think the draft order should go Scoot, probably Victor, and then the Thompson twins. I think I'm looking at the camera right now. I don't know if we're going to pull this footage, but I'm looking at the camera.
But you have to think about what you're getting is 7'2", finishing, shooting, defense.
Still taking Scoot. All right, moving on. Next trade. Let's talk about D'Lo. How about that? What was that? 3 or 4? That might have been a 4-team deal. No, it was 3. It was the Timberwolves, the Jazz, and the Lakers. But lots of moving pieces there. We got Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, and D'Lo all going to the Lakers. We've got Russ going to the Jazz, and we've got Mike Conley to the Timberwolves. Now, Minnesota. What were they thinking?
Well, honestly, I was surprised when I saw it. I didn't even know Mike Conley was in the league.
Neither did I. I thought he disappeared.
Hey, that used to be my guy back in the day.
He's still great. Great basketball player. But once again, what were the Timberwolves thinking? They got nothing in return for that. They got Mike Conley for D'Lo and Jared Vanderbilt.
I don't know. I don't know what that was.
They got nothing in return for that. That was an awful trade. They must have
something in store. I don't know.
They've got to, but now they've gotten who's on that lineup? Rudy Gobert, Cat, who's always got a torn something in.
Rudy Gobert clogging the paint when you have Ant just trying to drive every possession.
No.
That's just not.
Oh my goodness, it's not gonna work. They need to trade Rudy.
Hey, he's a great defensive player.
You know who could have used Rudy? The Mavericks.
The Mavericks or the Lakers?
No, screw the Lakers. The Lakers aren't making the playoffs. Lakers aren't making the playoffs. Let's talk about this. Is D'Lo the answer?
No.
D'Lo's not the answer.
D'Lo's not the answer, but
Is
he
Mo
is a
Bamba?
viable piece, though.
Is Mo Bamba the answer?
Mo Bamba's not the answer.
Let's talk
either,
about
but they're
that.
viable pieces, though.
Let's talk about that. They ship off their best defensive player in Patrick Beverly for Mohamed Bamba of the Orlando Magic. Obviously,
there was chemistry issues, though.
There were chemistry issues on both teams. Mo Bamba, obviously, the fight with Austin Rivers, that was his last moment as a player on the Magic. If you are smart and had some common sense, I feel like we all knew that after that we were going to see Mo Bamba get shipped somewhere.
Yep.
Which is obviously what happened. He goes to the Lakers in exchange for Pat Bev. Obviously, chemistry issues on both sides. Probably the reason both of those players got traded. But the real question here is Mo Bamba the answer? Is D'Lo the answer? Let's see what you got to say, James.
Well, honestly, I don't think either D'Lo or Mo Bamba are specifically the answers, but they are viable pieces.
I agree with that.
You have D'Lo, a great passer, coming in to help LeBron.
Hey, ice in his veins.
Honestly,
he's got ice in his veins.
Honestly. And then you have Mo Bamba, a very versatile 5.
I agree with that as well.
Also coming to help out the Lakers. And, of course, they needed a center. So,
but here's my question. Why trade Thomas Bryant? Because what's their center situation looking like? Because we know AD doesn't like to play center. AD, and even if AD were to come play center, he'd probably get hurt in the first game.
Okay.
No shade to AD, but he's always hurt.
AD. Okay.
but
he just has little weak knees. It's fine. It's okay.
But here's my question: is the Thomas Bryant trade baffled me? That's coming from an Indiana fan, former Indiana player. Shout out to Thomas Bryant. I know he's not going to watch this, but shout out. Why? Because I think he's got more of an offensive aspect to the game than Mo Bamba does. I think Mo Bamba's definitely a better defensive player, but I also know that Bryant shoots the 3 way more efficiently.
That's true.
And, the Lakers were in need of shooters, and they traded a big man who could shoot. I don't know why they didn't keep him on the bench. I obviously know he brings less to the defensive side of the game, but I feel like he brings a piece that the Lakers could have used on the offensive side.
Definitely the Lakers games that I did watch, offensively, Thomas Bryant was very dominant.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was like that in college too. He was very dominant in college on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I agree he's a little weak, and I understand trading for Mo Bamba, but I also don't understand why you traded him away.
Yeah, I don't know who their backup center is going to be.
Neither do I, because Dwight Howard's gone, JaVale McGee's gone, so I have no clue. Austin Reeves? We gonna shove him down there? All right, next trade. Let's talk about this one. This will be quick. The Jay Crowder.
Double traded, right?
Yeah, double traded. So I read this online, and he got traded off the Suns at like midnight, the day they traded for KD, and he showed up to the Nets facility like less than 12 hours later, and he walked up into the facilities. They told him to go see the GM, and he told him that he got traded again. Now he's on the Bucks though. Good for Jay Crowder.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Jay Crowder brings a lot of grit to a team. He's a very
three ball.
He's a very tough player.
I agree with that. A lot of massive veteran piece for the Bucks there. That's something I think the Bucks were lacking that kept them out of being the best team in the East. They didn't really have that grizzled veteran.
Right.
Now they have that. Jay Crowder.
Giannis around shooters.
Oh, that's dangerous. Who's on that team now? What's their lineup look like? Drew Holiday.
Oh, Drew Holiday. I love
that great basketball player. Let's highlight that real quick. Drew Holiday is a defensive demon.
Love his play.
He's a great point guard. He's a textbook point guard. Defense, can shoot the 3. He can drive to the basket. That's a great point guard right there. But then they've got Middleton.
Another shooter.
Now they have Jay Crowder at the 4.
Another shooter.
Are they going to put Giannis at the 5?
I doubt it. I doubt we see Giannis play the 5.
Oh, no. You know what they're going to do? Middleton at the shooting guard. Crowder at the 3. Giannis at the 4 and Brook Lopez at the 5. They've got the best stretch lineup I've ever seen. And Giannis is shooting the 3 better than ever this year.
Nothing but shooters around Giannis.
And he's shooting the 3 better than ever this year. So if they need to, they can kick it to him. Oh, my. That's scary. All right. Yeah, just Jay Crowder, double trade, pretty basic.
Next, we're going to be looking at the Cam Reddish trade. What do you think about it?
I think I'm kind of baffled on the Knicks part, but the Blazers, I'm even more baffled about that. Why did you trade away Josh Hart for Cam Reddish? That's my question.
I really couldn't tell you what they were thinking right there.
Because, let's be real here. Josh Hart, I'm taking Josh Hart over Cam Reddish in the NBA.
For sure.
Although I do agree, I do think that there was a very wholesome moment when Jalen Brunson
found out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very, very cool to see because I've never seen an NBA player react like that to a trade. Obviously, best friends at Villanova, they won at least one national championship together. He walks out of the jersey retirement and somebody shows him that and he just freaks out. It was really, really wholesome moment. But I think Josh Hart's going to help the Knicks more than Cam Reddish is going to help the Blazers because obviously we knew Cam Reddish was. There was something going on with him because he hadn't played in almost 2 months. Might have been over 2 months, actually, that he didn't play. We really have no clue why. It was an unknown reason why he didn't play. So I'm not surprised he got traded, but in what they got in return was not what they should have.
I really just want to see my boy Dame get some help, honestly, because he's struggling over there.
We all want to see Dame win a ring. Let's be real here. Who doesn't want to see Dame win a ring?
Faithful to his team to the end, man.
And they got rid of everybody. CJ ditched him. Is Nurkic still even on that team? I don't even know if he's still on that team.
I don't know.
He's not even good anymore, is he?
Yeah, he's not. He's not all that.
He fell off. That ACL injury screwed him up big time. Poor fella. All right, well, that's all we've got on the trade deadline. So let's hop into our quick waiver wire update here. And how this is going to work every week is this is going to be based off players that are available in my fantasy basketball league. And I'm just going to tell you who I think would be a good pickup in your league if they do happen to be available. So let's hop into it. I think the best option right now in fantasy basketball is Onyeka Okongwu. He is a very solid center or power forward is what he's listed as. So you can play him at either of the positions, throw him in the utility if you need to. Very solid. He'll pick you up a good 15 to 20, maybe even 25 points every night. Second, we have Jalen McDaniels. The reason I say him is because he's a solid player. He'll get you a good amount of points every night. But the thing is his minutes are increasing due to that Kelly Oubre injury. If you want to go ahead and throw something in there about that, James, the Charlotte Hornets, Kelly Oubre was having an incredible season until he got hurt.
Yeah, kind of despise Kelly Oubre, though, for personal reasons. But he was a really valuable piece, though.
Very, very good player. He was having a career season. I believe he was averaging 21 points before he got hurt. So, yeah, Jalen McDaniels, he's a good guy to go ahead and scoop up as the replacement for Kelly Oubre. And then number 3, we got Jalen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just an overall solid forward that you can sneak in there if you've got somebody injured like Chris Middleton or Malik Beasley, somebody like that gets hurt. You can go ahead and pick him up and slide him into your lineup. He's very solid. Now let's go ahead and get back into our main show. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, James. Obviously, Chiefs won it 38-35. Obviously, we know the big topic, the James Bradberry hold. What do we think about that?
I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe that something that petty was called for the game.
Absolutely. That was outrageous in my eyes because you cannot let a call like that decide the Super Bowl.
Okay. What we have next, we have the Juju tweet.
So I don't know. I showed you this earlier this week. And on Valentine's Day, Juju goes and makes a tweet. He puts it out on Twitter. And he throws up a little to and from card. And has a picture of James Bradberry on there. And it says, "I'll hold you when it matters most." Obviously, A.J. Brown, I believe C.J. Gardner-Johnson also responded. But what are your thoughts on that? That's just petty in my eyes.
Very petty from somebody that had a very low impact.
Especially all season. All season in the Super Bowl. That was his only impact, was getting that holding call.
He really just came alive real late.
Yeah.
Second half,
I agree
third
with
quarter.
that.
But it's just real petty. Y'all already won the game. Why go and taunt? You know what I'm saying?
On one of the worst calls we've ever seen. That's got to be up there with the Saints call. Do you remember that? The PI, the missed PI, Saints-Rams in like 2019, 2018.
Who was it against, though?
Troy Hill?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, it was one of the worst no calls ever. It was in the playoffs. It was awful. But that's a call you can't make that call that late in a. It was a great game too, and you let that decide it. 35-35, fourth quarter. What, like 40 seconds left, and you call it. The thing that baffles me is it was first 5 yards.
But that comeback that the Chiefs made,
They didn't make a comeback.
the Chiefs didn't make a second half comeback.
Oh no, they were down by what, 11, something like that. Yeah, I'll give it to them.
But what we saw all game was supposed to be a dominant Eagles game.
True. We did expect the Eagles to come in there. However, I think that the Chiefs defense kept them in it. That fumble return for a touchdown from Nick Bolton really kept them in the game. If they don't get that, I think the Eagles could have ran away with it.
The Eagles were getting pressure. Patrick was running almost all night.
Can we talk about how he ran out of that locker room? That cortisone must have gave him a superpowers. That might not have been cortisone. That might have been kryptonite.
Hey man, as long as it's not illegal, it's good to go.
True. Also, let's bring that back. Gary Payton. We forgot to talk about Gary Payton. Back to the Warriors from the Blazers. And speaking of shots, I heard they gave him Tardol shots. It's some sort of drug that's supposed to make you heal faster. And he said he would bleed out of his abdomen where he got the surgery. He said it would cause him to bleed. And so, I saw that the other day and I kind of questioned. I was like, why'd the Warriors want him back if they knew that?
He said that the Blazers gave him the shot?
Yeah, the Blazers gave him shots to get him back on the court faster. And he would bleed out of his abdomen. It sounded very weird. I don't know if he's making something up, if he had beef with the Blazers, but that just if the Warriors knew that, why'd they trade back for him?
I don't know.
Anyways, got all track there. Do we think the NFL scripted, especially following that Super Bowl?
Honestly, how can I put this? I wouldn't say that it's scripted to where the athletes are following the script themselves, but I definitely think there's certain milestones that you get each season that they tell you're going to, you know what I'm saying? You're going to look to really get to this milestone every season.
So you don't think it's scripted, but you think that they suggest that you try extra hard to get a milestone?
I feel like the leaders of the NFL send the teams a milestone that certain players are going to get, leading them to target them more. That's what I believe.
So you think, like,
so I don't see a script being followed in real time.
In case you think, basically what you're saying is like, when the Bears got their script, they were like, Justin Fields needs 1,000 rushing yards.
Yes, absolutely. That doesn't apply to Lamar though. Lamar's better than him. This is what that
Whoa,
is.
do we need to discuss that?
Lamar is not
better than Justin Fields.
Lamar's 100% better.
Justin Fields is the best running quarterback in the league.
That's fine, but Lamar has a better arm.
Lamar does not have a better arm. He has better short range accuracy.
And he
Fields
can
has
throw the deep ball.
Fields has a better arm deep ball.
Lamar can throw the deep ball.
Lamar's deep ball is not as good as Fields.
Does Lamar have weapons? Let me ask that.
Does Fields?
I don't care what Fields says.
Does Fields have weapons?
I don't care what Fields says. We're talking about Lamar Jackson here.
Lamar Jackson has no weapons. No, he has Mark Andrews. He's got a top 3 tight end. He's got a top 3 tight end. I don't want to hear it. He's got a top 3 tight end. He's got a top 3 tight end.
He got hurt this season.
Top 3 tight end.
We're talking about
top 3
Lamar
tight end.
Jackson. Phenomenal running quarterback. Can throw the deep ball. We've seen the deep ball accurate.
2. Bateman?
Hollywood
dropped all the deep balls.
Were they accurate though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree that they were accurate,
right.
but he dropped all of them. And then Bateman's not a deep threat. Bateman's a route runner.
Bateman got hurt.
Duvernay's awful.
Duvernay is a kick returner. That's what Duvernay
I agree with that. He's baby Devin Hester.
All right, let's move on to instant replay. Instant replay, is it really helping?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Because we saw that the LeBron foul against the Celtics.
Tatum on LeBron.
That could have so easily been reviewed, overturned, and the Lakers win that game. It doesn't help at all. And even, I just watched Indiana. Obviously, you know I'm a massive Indiana fan, James. At least when it comes to college basketball, I am. And I was watching us play Northwestern on Wednesday night. Boo-booey. Final like 8 seconds of the game. He's driving to the basket, tie game, 62-62. And he shoves Trey Galloway about 7 feet into the paint, like push off. Doesn't get called. Coach Woodson tries to gets the refs to review to get an offensive foul called so they can go to overtime, and the refs just walked away from him.
Yeah, I honestly think it's getting kind of. They're looking real shameless. The refs are just.
It's out of hand. In every league, that's a problem.
There's a lot of missed calls that just determine games.
The NFL, we just saw it. The Super Bowl. The sad thing is it happens in almost every league out there. We see it in the NBA. We see it in the NCAA. We see it in women's basketball. If you watch college women's basketball, I've seen
a little bit, just a little something.
I've seen missed calls in college women's basketball. I've seen it in college men's basketball, the NBA, the NFL. It's outrageous. However, I will say that the two leagues that get instant replay right are the MLB and the NHL. I think the NBA and the NFL should take a page out of that book and go look at what they do. If you go, I know you're not a big fan of either of those sports, but I am.
At all.
But in the MLB, they only use instant replay. They don't use it for like ticky-tacky strike calls and all that. Like if they let the umpires decide that because there's a human aspect, you know, the umpire's going to be wrong sometimes.
Right.
But when somebody beats somebody to the base by like milliseconds, they'll go and review it until they get it right. And like same thing in hockey. In hockey, if somebody like you can't kick the puck into the net. So like if somebody does that, they'll go and review until they find out that it goes off a stick for a goal before they call it a goal. So I think the NBA and the NFL should take out a page out of the NHL and the MLB's book because I think it would benefit them tremendously.
Sounds would be very impactful.
All right, now here we are into what I think is going to be me and James, our favorite segment of the show. We're going to get into the Keep 3, Cut 3 segment. And we're going to do NBA shooting guards for our first episode because we're the Order on the Court podcast. We're mainly talking about basketball here. So do you want to list off who we got, James?
All right, for our Keep 3, Cut 3 segment, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton, Jordan Poole, Luka Doncic, Donovan Mitchell, and Anthony Edwards.
All right, so who are you taking here? Are we basing this off this season or all time? I think we do it off this season.
This season?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, obviously, the best players, we're taking Luka.
Of course.
We're taking Luka and Shai. Those are the two I'm keeping, and I'm definitely cutting Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole this season is getting cut.
I think that, personally, I'm going to go Luka, Shai, and Donovan Mitchell.
I disagree with you.
Who are you taking? You taking Halliburton?
I'm taking Tyrese.
Taking Halliburton. Okay.
But the reasoning behind that is because he's averaging almost 20 and 10.
I can see that. But
he's averaging almost 20. He's almost averaging a double-double.
Freak athlete.
No, I can't disagree with that. That 71-point game was incredible. And sometimes he just flies into the paint.
Just soars into the sky.
Him,
then you have Shai at 6'6",
crazy.
Luka at 6'6" as well.
6'7".
6'7"?
Give him the extra inch.
6'7". Okay. Those are two big guards. And then you add on
Shai 6'6"?
Shai is 6'6".
He's averaging 30 this year. I want to throw that. He's fifth in scoring. Shai is fun to watch. I watched him the other day.
Honestly.
I watched the Thunder game the other day because it was the only thing on TV. And Shai is so much fun to watch.
Don't say it like that. Don't say because
it was the only thing.
You watched it because you knew Shai was going to be playing and you wanted to see that.
I'm not a glazer like you.
You like Halliburton. Why do you like Halliburton?
Because of the assist numbers and the defense.
Okay.
He's got more defense than Donnie, I think. I think they go head-to-head on defense. But he's averaging like 20 and 10. And he gets like, there are some games where he'll go like 25 points, 11 or 12 assists, and 5 steals.
Okay. That's fair.
I think so. As a group here, I'll agree with you though. I think on the offensive aspect, obviously Donovan Mitchell has much more offensive upside. So we'll go Shai, Luka, and Donovan Mitchell, and we'll cut Halliburton, Poole, and Ant. I mean, I give Ant Edwards a couple of years, and I think he's better than Halliburton and Spida.
I'll accept that.
I just think they need to get rid of Rudy Gobert.
I'll accept that. As long as Anthony Edwards can develop a consistent jump shot.
Oh, yes. If he could get a jumper, he's definitely up there. All right, so back into our show. We got a couple topics left. Let's talk about the one and done rule in college basketball.
Now, the one and done rule, this is something I'm very passionate about. Because, honestly, going back to when college athletes were not able to receive pay, especially from NIL deals, there was no way for them to get paid. No way at all. And most of them are trying to get to the league so they can support their families. So that 1 year and straight to the league, that honestly helped them gain the financial stability that they needed to also give to their families.
I see where you're coming from there. I do think that the one and done rule is good, and the NIL deals, obviously, players might want to stay more actually due to the NIL deals, especially if they know they're not going to make the league.
Possible.
But I do think that they need to up it to the 2-year rule, like the college football players, because we see all these young players that come in from the college route, and we see some of them get hurt. Chet Holmgren in pro-am games. And, they're all young. We don't want to see players get hurt so young in their career, maybe even before it starts. Hadn't even played an NBA game yet. Didn't want to throw shade, but I guess the trees up here, we're throwing shade on Chet. But I do respect it because he's a great basketball player, but he got hurt, and that's why I think they need to make it 2 years. Because you have all these 18 and 19-year-olds coming into a league full of players that look like Giannis.
Well,
if Chet Holmgren went against Giannis, Chet's shattering every bone in his body into pieces.
Let's think about this, though. Let's think about this. What did we see with KD? What did we see with KD? When KD came into the league, what did we see?
One of the best players of all time.
I'm talking about body-wise.
Oh, he was a twig.
Exactly.
He was probably skinnier than Chet.
Exactly.
And he still is. He's still skinny. He's still a toothpick.
He's built up more now, though.
A little bit.
Which is exactly why I say it should be the player's choice.
But guess what? Chet's not built up anymore because he tore his ACL in a pro-am game. He didn't get built at all. He's been sitting on the sideline with crutches the entire year.
But we saw KD come into the league that skinny and dominate still.
Yes, but KD's also much better than Chet Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren hasn't been able to play an NBA game, by the way.
Yeah, because he tore his ACL in a pro-am game.
He was practicing.
Wasted the pick.
He was working.
Wasted the pick.
He was working.
All right, moving on. Final topic of today's show. All-Star weekends. Should leagues start to get rid of them?
NFL, yes. NBA, no.
I'm going to go ahead and speak for the other two. The MLB should definitely keep it. I love the home run derby. It's still one of the most exciting things I watch every year. Okay. All-Star game is actually pretty good, too, because they actually play full on. And then NHL, get rid of it, please. It was so bad this year. So let's go ahead and discuss league by league. The NFL, the Pro Bowl.
I didn't watch it, but I did see the clips.
It was awful.
And I love to see Ray Lewis out there, though. I just love to see it. Me, I'm a Ravens fan.
The murderer back on the field.
Whoa. Allegedly.
Alleged. Let's go ahead and clear that out. I'll look at the camera for that one. Alleged murderer back on the field. I mean, I'm talking on the field. He was a murderer, though. He would kill somebody if they ran over the middle.
Definitely.
That's what I meant. Would like to clarify that. Let me point at the camera. Like to clarify that. Murderer on the field. He would take your head off.
What else? You said NBA?
I think the NFL. Let's talk about the Pro Bowl for a second. It's gotten so bad to the point where they're playing flag football. I remember there used to be clips. There's a clip of Sean Taylor out there. We'll actually throw this on post edit.
Okay.
When we go ahead and make the show and post it. There's a clip of Sean Taylor decking a punter on a trick play. Absolutely decking him, knocking his head off.
That's exactly why they made it flag, though. Because what do you look like getting hurt in a Pro Bowl game? Why are you getting hurt in a Pro Bowl game?
It's fun to, I don't know if you've ever seen that clip. Have you ever seen the clip of Sean Taylor decking Brian Anger or whoever the punter was? It's hilarious. So the punter runs a trick play where he rolls out and runs. It's almost like a designed QB run, but with the punter. And he starts rolling out of the backfield, and you can't see Sean Taylor in the shot, but he comes all the way down from the gunner spot, starts running down the field, and he just comes and takes off and just decks the punter. Absolute hammer, like Ray Lewis, Troy Polamalu, Brian Dawkins type hit on the punter. And it was hilarious.
That's exactly why they play flag.
But I agree now. But that was also in 2000. That was in the late 90s, early 2000s. So obviously not as much concern for player health back then.
Right.
But the flag football is just boring.
I didn't watch it.
It was boring.
I expected it to be boring.
Bro, Kirk Cousins threw an interception to Tyreek Hill.
But flag football protects both the players.
It does.
They still brought out a crowd, so people still loved it.
Nobody was cheering.
I tried.
They probably got paid to be there.
I tried.
The skills competition is what brings it down. The skills competition's not fun. Except for the dodgeball.
The dodgeball.
Keep the dodgeball.
Dodgeball's fun.
Do the dodgeball every year.
Fun.
All right, NBA. Keep it, but you need to bring the dunk contest and the 3-point contest all the way back. Bring it back. I want cash prizes.
They can't force
cash prizes. Charity money. In the dunk game. I know, but incentives. Cash prize. Charity money.
I would love to see
like
Zion, Anthony
hold on.
Edwards.
Can I go ahead and list real quick?
Mitchell, I would love to see it. Go ahead.
The dunk contest everybody wants to see is Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, Zion, and Ja Morant. If we saw that,
sounds fantastic.
Or we could even exchange it. Go ahead, throw out your perfect dunk contest lineup.
I'm gonna take 2 from yours. I'm gonna say Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, Zion.
Oh my goodness,
Ja, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add Anthony Edwards in there.
Donovan Mitchell too. See him in the dunk contest. Oh my
Donovan Mitchell would be something special.
Maybe even throwing somebody fun in there, like a. Maybe like a Jimmy Butler or something. Throw somebody fun in there.
Jimmy Butler's not playing in the dunk contest.
And then the 3-point contest, like, how many people are in the 3-point contest? 8 right now?
I don't know.
But it's just boring. They need to bring it back where it's like actually the best shooters in the league. They shouldn't do it based off field goal percentage because then you're going to have random people in there like Yuta Watanabe. Who wants to watch Yuta Watanabe shoot in a 3-point contest? My dream 3-point contest would be like Curry and Clay have to be in there. I want to see Curry and Clay. Maybe like KD.
Oh, yeah, KD.
Kyrie, Luka.
Tatum.
I don't know. Maybe 2 other people. I don't know. Throw somebody fun in there like LaMelo or something. Somebody who's a big name. And then throw like a veteran in there. Throw like LeBron in there or something. LeBron's not going to do that. But like make it more fun. And then the skills competition. I don't like the 3-on-3. I don't like how they're doing it now. I liked it when it was 1-on-1.
Right.
I think they should bring that back. You know, the 8-man bracket, the 1-on-1. That's much more fun to watch.
That's what I liked as well.
Because it was different. It was the half court shot. It was the race. Right. That was what made it fun. I think they should bring that back. But the NBA, the All-Star game's still fun to watch. The Rising Stars game's still fun to watch.
And we also have the celebrity game.
Celebrity game. Oh, yes.
That's funny.
I forgot about that.
It's always funny.
They need to bring Quavo back. Quavo's the best.
Chris Brown.
Chris Breezy. That's actually fun to watch. I like the celebrity All-Star.
And then not to forget, Kevin Hart made his little MVP run.
Yep. Yes, sir. You know who they should bring on there?
Who?
You might not like me for this, but ISO Speed played basketball in high school.
Right,
no, he played basketball in high school.
Let's go to the next. MLB? You got to talk about the MLB.
Home Run Derby is still incredible. I think the MLB has the best All-Star weekend. That's still going because they've got a good lineup. They also have a Rising Stars type game. I don't believe it's called the Rising Stars. I believe it's called the Juniors or something. I have no clue what it's called. But it's like a Rising Stars game where they bring like the best minor league players up and they have them play in a game. And it's fun. Last year I watched it. It was actually really, really good game. But they play real baseball. Like it's a real baseball game. Like they're wearing helmets and stuff. Like they're going all out.
I don't think it's that much of a risk to get hurt.
There's definitely less of a risk getting hurt in baseball, but the injuries are normally way worse.
Oh yeah, of course. But
the injury return times are awful in baseball. But there's also less of a risk to get hurt. Yeah. But they play full on baseball, and it's fun to watch. You know, it's just you see the best players in the league give it their all to try and win it, and it's fun. There's also celebrity softball game that's fun to watch every year. You know, you see random people like. Pretty sure JoJo Siwa hit a home run last year.
I don't know what you just said to me.
Pretty sure JoJo Siwa hit a home run last year.
I have no clue who that is.
She's like some TikToker or something. She hit a home run last year though. It's fun to watch.
Like an actual home run?
In the softball. Like they had a fence. It was like 200 feet, 250 feet. Or yards, feet. And then NHL needs to get rid of it. And by the way, MLB has the Home Run Derby. Home Run Derby is incredibly fun to watch. You just see 8 of the best power hitters in the league just basically step up there and take batting practice and hit like 80 home runs in like a 2-hour span. It's fun to watch. And then NHL. Get rid of it completely. It was awful. The skills competition, I fell asleep.
What is the skills competition? What does that look like in hockey?
So, they've got an accuracy shooting. So it's like they've got a guy, he's timed, and he's got to hit 4 targets in the net. They've got a fastest skater where they do a race around the ice. They've got goalie things where they've got, like, you got to stop, like, all the best players. But it's boring. It's so boring.
Yeah, regular hockey's boring to me, man.
Regular hockey's not boring to me. But then the All-Star game is just as boring. Like, it's 3-on-3 hockey, which I love, but they're not trying. They're quite literally, the goalies don't try. If the goalies tried, it would be so much better. Like, you can't hit people, which is, in my opinion, the entire aspect of hockey. If you're watching hockey to see somebody get absolutely, like, decked.
I'm watching these somebody box. That's what I'm watching for.
They fight too.
If I ever turn on a game, it better be some boxing in it.
Do you want me to recommend a game that you watch? Watch the Flyers and the Penguins play.
You'll never see it on my TV.
If you ever see the Flyers and the Penguins on TV, throw it on. Somebody's going to be fighting.
They will never get my view.
They're fighting. They're beating each other up. Entire team scrap too, probably. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Order on the Court podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
I'm James.
I'm Parker, and we will see you next time.